Well, this is it. We've reached the final day of the election campaign in a race that's been like no other. No other campaign in history compares to it. We've seen 2 serious attempts on Donald Trump's life. And how grateful are we that he is still here and he has made it to this point? Keep up those prayers for Trump. We've seen President Joe Biden make a fool of himself so badly he had to be kicked out of the race by his own side. And we've seen another campaign entirely by Kamala Harris, whose strategy has been to duck and weave and hide from the media, rely on those brat summer vibes from celebrities. And although she eventually fronted up for interviews, she still managed to make it through this entire time without holding a press conference. Not one. But here we are. Tomorrow, votes will be counted and the 47th President of the United States will be elected. Who's it going to be? We will find out. But this is an interesting development and a boost for Donald Trump happening in the final hours of the campaign. The world's biggest podcaster, Joe Rogan, has just publicly endorsed the Republican candidate.
And to me, it's very big because he's the biggest there is, I guess, in that world by far. Somebody said the biggest beyond anybody in a long time. And his name is Joe Rogan, and he's never done this before. And it just came over the wires that Joe Rogan just endorsed me. Is that right? Thank you, Joe. That's so nice. And he doesn't do that. He doesn't do that stuff.
Donald Trump sat down with the podcaster for 3 hours where no topic was off limits. The JFK files, aliens, the border, you name it. The episode has been viewed more than 65 million times on YouTube and on X. And this endorsement comes just hours after billionaire Elon Musk joined Joe Rogan and opened up about why he's supporting Donald Trump.
Well, I'll say it again, man. I think this is the last election. If Trump doesn't win, this is the last election.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think people, and a lot of people are waking up and realize that have been lifelong Democrats. Guys like Bill Ackman, guys like Chamath.
Yeah, exactly.
Tulsi Gabbard switched over to the Republicans. Yep. Like, there's a lot of people who their whole life they've been left-wing, and they realize, like, I can't do this anymore.
You and I used to be Democrats.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
On the final day.
Wake up, everybody. Welcome into Redacted. I'm Clayton Morris.
I'm Natalie Morris.
And on this show, we cover the stories the mainstream media largely ignores, or we help you sift through all of the propaganda and the last-minute spin from all of these, the corporate media and the corrupt politicians. So we're going to get to a lot of stories today on the show. Of course, Election Day is upon us, but we're going to be looking at a lot of the fraud stories that have come out over the past 24 to 48 hours across the country. In addition to which, we're seeing a lot of problems right now with military members that don't have access to absentee ballots, as well as a whole host of issues across the United States, including the National Guard being mobilized in a number of states, ready for action for election turmoil. Will we see unrest in the next 48 hours?
Interestingly enough, that was something the Obama administration failed to do, which was get overseas military their absentee ballots. That's funny, right? Why does that happen under Democratic presidents? Could it be because military tends to vote Republicans? Maybe, but it is part of the Voting Rights Act. They are supposed to be able to vote.
You would think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Election day is on us, you guys. It's within minutes, hours. I can't take it. Can you let me know how you're coping? What else are we going to talk about?
We're going to talk about FEMA. So
I'm screaming.
Yeah, you're screaming. That's okay. We're all screaming. We're all a little like on edge right now, I think. But FEMA,
you think?
FEMA funds. Why didn't we have enough money allocated for people in Hurricane Helene's path or other areas of destruction across the United States? Well, it turns out, thanks to some great reporting out of Chicago, a lot of the FEMA money in Chicago and Illinois has been redistributed for illegal immigrants. Yes, to house illegals in the state of Illinois. Unbelievable. We're going to bring you that story in moments.
Plus, a new pandemic treaty is upon us. It is like the World Health Organization, which seems to be dead in its tracks, thankfully. But that's okay, because Congress has another initiative. It's for North America, but it does call for vaccine passports and a monitoring of your social media and communications monitoring. We're going to take a look at it because Here you go. It's what do you call it? Like a different clothed wolf in sheep's clothing, like a same beast, on a pig. Different costume kind of thing. There's a saying for this that eludes me at the moment.
Yeah, we got a lot of news to get to, including, yes, I saw someone in the chat just say, rip Peanut. Rip Peanut the squirrel.
Yeah.
Yes, justice for Fred and Peanut, Redcap Goblin says. I mean, can you...
Why do you think the squirrel is more popular than the raccoon? I think
guesses? People aren't big fans of raccoons. You know, they're used to seeing them out in their trash and stuff.
Yeah.
Remember, like Peanut had a 1 million follower TikTok and the raccoon didn't. So
yeah,
he was
that could be
world
people
famous.
Like more into the squirrels. But it's amazing to me that we can literally euthanize squirrels in the United States. That's what Democrats are focused on right now, rather than protecting our citizens and making sure that illegal immigrants aren't taking over apartment complexes across the United States.
Now, I would like to point out that this is a prophecy come true from The Wizard of Oz. That whole story started on authoritarian government taking away the animal. Did anybody else miss this?
Yes.
Here we are. You
Toto,
want that?
Well, explain that. Toto was biting
Yes. So the Wicked Witch of the West was government taking away the dog because she said the dog was bothersome and she went to take the dog, and it's all snowballs from there. The Wizard of Oz is it's a warning. It's supposed to be a post-apocalyptic warning, right, about what authoritarian government and specifically the Federal Reserve can do, and we're here. We're here.
It's real. All right. Well, we got a lot of news to get to today. I mean, we have a lot of things we're going to give you today and a lot of stories you probably haven't heard. So we're going to get to those in a second. But we want to thank our show sponsor today, our friends at Lear Capital. Crazy times, guys. Oh, and by the way, just a point of order. Tomorrow, here we will have live election coverage on Redacted. We will be starting live at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 5:30 p.m. Mountain Time, 4:30 Pacific Time. We will have live election coverage here on Redacted. Watching the returns come in, we'll be having analysis and great discussions. So join Redacted Live for our election night coverage. Hang out with us.
We should also have tacos because it's Tuesday. We need something to keep us going. Yeah, bring what you'd like. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, bring all of it. All right. Well, big news out of the Pacific Northwest as Washington, Oregon, and now other states are actively stepping up security ahead of Election Day. Worries about violence and unrest on Election Day. Here's the deal. Washington's governor, Jay Inslee, has activated the National Guard after a couple of ballot drop boxes were set on fire in the region. Destroying hundreds of ballots. The Guard will be around from Monday, so today through Thursday. How many of you are in this area and have seen the National Guard, any kind of Humvees or otherwise taking to the streets? You would think this is like some Latin American country having to deal with an election. No, it's the United States of America that needs the National Guard to step up. Other states coming involved in this as well. The Guard will be around through the end of the week to back up local police to help keep the peace. Democrats say the reason they're activating the National Guard is because of Trump. They're blaming it on Trump, of course. And they're already worried that he's going to stir up violence. Democrats are saying already that Trump will declare victory on election night, no matter whether or not the returns show that he's the winner. So this is why they're girding themselves right now for a Trump victory that he's going to announce. Watch.
The National Guard is on standby for potential unrest. What is going on, Paul Dudridge?
They're calling out the National Guard in certain states. I think Oregon, Washington. We're expecting unrest on the night of the election in certain states. And I think that's probably going to be across many, certainly the swing states. But yes, already the National Guard is on alert for Tuesday night.
Now, will they disqualify Trump even if he wins? Because I'm hearing rumours that if he does win, they'll try and unwin him.
Unwin him.
Exactly. This is the rumor now that what will the Democrats do? I'll tell you the one thing we can guarantee is Trump is going to declare victory on Tuesday night. Okay? So there won't be any concession. No matter what the result, Trump will declare victory.
So,
what does unwin him mean?
Unwin him. Well, of course, this is part of the Democratic playbook already. We've heard from Jamie Raskin and others. Like, this is the plan, right? So they will disqualify him even if he does win. You'll see that now they're already lining him up with his comments about Liz Cheney, the Attorney General of Maricopa County. saying they're going to investigate these comments. Would that disqualify him under the Constitution, because he's inciting violence against Liz Cheney? They'll use any strategy they possibly can, no matter where you come down on whether you like Trump or don't like Trump. Exactly the deep state will not allow him to become president. I mean, I've said this repeatedly.
I don't like it when you say that.
I'm just reminding you all of exactly what they're going to do, which is if he wins in a landslide, we have the new Real Clear Politics average poll out today, which shows for the first time Trump winning in that Real Clear Politics average poll. But polls, other internal polling showing a landslide. Of course, the national polls have it 50-50 right now because they want everyone to vote, so they don't want anyone to have a 10-point win margin right now. If he wins in a landslide, they're going to do whatever they can to keep him from becoming president. 100% is going to be the case. So, by the way, you have Oregon. You have Governor Tina Kotek is also on alert in the state of Oregon. The Oregon National Guard isn't deployed yet, but they're standing ready, she says, if things get tense. What is that? Things are tense right now.
Yeah, that's not a hypothetical, girl.
So if things get tense. Things are tense.
I expect them kicking in my door at any moment now because it's pretty tense around here.
Philip is tense. Do you hear the anxiety in his voice, for crying out loud?
That's what anxiety sounds like in Philip. He's usually pretty steady state.
Get the National Guard out to his house. Portland's police will even have extra officers on Election Day just in case. And also other states are also preparing the National Guard for unrest. Let me know in the chat room, how many of you have family members tied to the National Guard? Have you been called up? Have there been any notifications sent out to anybody in your state? Let me know. Again, we have Washington, Oregon, and preparing in other states as well. So you should be prepared. You absolutely should. You should have emergency preparedness kit in your cars, in your homes. You should all be prepared. Not just for this. I mean, we should always be prepared, but in the case that they do something, there's, National Guard in the street, there's some sort of martial law as a result of this. I'm telling you guys, make sure you guys are prepared. Now we have the Supreme Court in Pennsylvania now ruling that ballots without dates will not be counted in the 2024 general election. So this was a strategy. They were going to have people flooding, getting all of these mail-in ballots in even after Election Day. And if they don't have dates on them, Democrats were fighting to say that we should be able to count those. No, if there's no dates on them, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court is saying they will not be counted now. So that's a big win. That's a big win for the Republicans.
That's a big win for everybody. Everybody should want fair elections and legitimate ballots.
Good point.
Right. Yeah, that's for us, for all of us. Somebody in the chat said, is Natalie a rhino? We are independents here. Yeah. We don't follow any one party, so don't call me names.
She's not a rhino.
This year has been difficult, given the scale of death and destruction in Gaza, and given the civilian casualties and displacement in Lebanon. It is devastating. And as president, I will do everything in my power to end the war in Gaza. To bring home the hostages, end the suffering in Gaza, ensure Israel is secure, and ensure the Palestinian people can realize their right to dignity, freedom, security, and self-determination. And we continue to work on a diplomatic resolution across the Israel-Lebanon border to protect civilians and provide lasting.
Y seguimos con esa campaña electoral. Nos vamos ahora en directo al acto de campaña que acaba